What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome to another edition of Jets Latest, where you get the latest on the Jets, Jets. I'm your host, the spitting statistician, Dane Martinez, and today I want to continue to talk about what is going on with the only winless team in the NFL, the 0-5 New York Jets. And I want to talk about a couple of areas that are actually unlikely, in my opinion, problem spots for the Jets, places that I did not think would be issues going into the 2025 season. I also want to let you know and remind everybody, if you want to become a Jets Latest Insider, click on that join button. You can become an insider, get all sorts of exclusive content, also some other perks as we go along through this 2025 season for the green and white, whether it be with the Jets, fantasy football, sports betting, whatever the case may be. I'm here to help you out. And before we get into some of the problem areas, you know me, if you're a Jets Latest day one guy, you know that I like to be somewhat optimistic about the Jets. So before we get into some of those unlikely problem areas, I want to give flowers to really someone who is not to blame at all, that no one can blame. Somebody who is not only producing on the field at an elite level, but is also, in my opinion, modeling and leading the right way for these Jets. And that's wide receiver Garrett Wilson. I mean, Garrett Wilson has been awesome, in my opinion. He got the big contract, and he has not rested on his laurels. I think he is saying the right things. I think he is leading in the right way, and he's obviously producing on the field. Check out what he had to say. He goes, "I just want to be known as resilient. Someone that was out there for his teammates every week. Someone that took a lot of pride in being part of this change. That's all I really want. When the players around the league talk about how they respect the way I played the game and that they know what it took to get to the point that we're eventually going to be at in this facility." He continues to be optimistic. He continues to model the right things. You saw that one-handed catch he made against Dallas, and not only the catch, but then afterwards, Travion Diggs, the corner who would have had a pick six going the other way, like pat him on the head and it's like, you are that dude, Garrett Wilson, and also he's saying the right things. I think he's modeling the right way. And quite frankly, he's among the league leaders. He is fourth in the league in catches among wide receivers, eighth in the league in receiving yards. He is tied for fifth in touchdowns, third most targets in the league, and the fourth highest target share. 28.4% of the passes from Jets quarterbacks this season have gone to Garrett Wilson. The volume has been there. The receptions are there. Garrett Wilson, we tip our cap to you over here at Jets Latest. You are doing exactly what you have been paid to do. Kudos, G5. Keep it going, and hopefully more offensive pass catchers and weapons can support you. I think Breece Hall can do it. I think Mason Taylor can do it. Hopefully we see more of Josh Reynolds, in my opinion, Arian Smith as well. But no one can say a damn thing about what Garrett Wilson has done so far this year. Now, let me get to two issues that I didn't think we were necessarily going to have. One is on the offensive line. The run blocking has been fine. Our run game, which I told you I thought was going to be top 5 in the NFL, the run game is still just fine, okay? We are third in the league in rushing. We have fourth highest yards per carry in the league. Run blocking has been fine, but this Jets O-line has struggled to protect Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor. I mean, Fields was sacked 5 times on Sunday. On 46 dropbacks, he was pressured 32 times, was hurried 16 times, got hit 10 times. Look, Tippmann gave up 6 pressures. Fashanu, 5 pressures. Armand Membu, 5 pressures and 4 penalties. Simpson, 3 pressures, a sack. Josh Myers, a pressure, 2 penalties, and a sack. The Jets have allowed the 34.9% pressure rate on the season. That is the 6th highest in the NFL. They've given up 16 sacks. That is tied for the 5th most in the NFL. And the problem is, we got a Denver Broncos team up next. The Denver Broncos pass rush is literally elite, the best in the league. They had 2 guys with 10 plus sacks last year, and they have 21 sacks so far in 5 games this year. That's the most in the NFL. They have 71 pressures so far most in the NFL so far this year. A 35% or better than 35% pressure rate, 4th best in the NFL. And here's the thing. I think Fields has actually been okay. I think most quarterbacks, when they are under pressure, it is a problem. Yes, sometimes Justin Fields turns it into a 43-yard touchdown run or a scramble to pick up first downs, and that's why we need that dual threat natured quarterback, and I have been talking about that here on Jets Latest. But when it comes to accuracy, when it comes to pushing the ball down the field, no quarterback in the league is going to be good when they are under pressure over a third of the time. I'll tell you what, a couple of years ago, CJ Stroud as a rookie for the Houston Texans was a revelation. Had something like 21 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. Was the third choice to be the NFL MVP. And then guess what? In his sophomore year, He was under pressure the most in the NFL. And that completely kneecapped and undercut his performance in his sophomore year. Caleb Williams, most sacked in the NFL. People thought he was a bust in his rookie year. When you are under pressure, it is hard for anybody, okay? And so I think that is an area that, and we all thought this O-line was going to be great, right? O-line's going to be awesome. O-line's going to be awesome. All the first round picks. And they have been good in the run game. The run game has been really good. Top 3 run game in the NFL. I was saying a top 5 run game. It has been so far. But they're going to have to protect Justin Fields. And the problem is we're going across the pond this week to see the Denver Broncos. And the Denver Broncos literally are one of the best pass rushing teams in the NFL. That is something to watch for in week 6. Can this Jets offensive line give Justin Fields a little bit more time to throw against what is going to be a tough opponent to do so? The other place, this time on the defensive side of the ball, that, going into the season, everybody was like, oh, we can't stop the run. We can't stop the run. Who's going to play next to Quinnen Williams? Well, Juwan Briggs has been good so far. All right, we got him in. Harrison Phillips, we got him in. That hasn't been the issue. The issue has been in the secondary. Our pass defense has been blunt guts trash, if you ask me, and it's going across the board. Quite frankly, look, multiple Jets have had their worst pass coverage grades of their career so far this season. Sauce Gardner has had the worst coverage grade of his career. Michael Carter, Tony Adams, all the worst pass coverage grade as per PFF in their career so far. Okay, and their pass defense has been bad. The Jets have allowed 11 passing touchdowns in 2025. That's 4th most in the NFL. 7.7 yards per attempt, tied for 7th worst in the NFL. And they're one of only 2 teams in the NFL that haven't gotten an interception yet. I think the San Francisco 49ers are the other. And listen, we continue to churn, right? Muji and Glenn, they're going out there and finding guys. Jarvis Brownlee Jr. was traded for. He only played in 7 snaps on Sunday, still getting acclimated, still coming back, from his injury. Remember, he was in a walking boot. But offensive line in terms of pass protection, protecting Justin Fields. And the other thing about that one is, I've been talking about staying on schedule. When you're in an obvious pass situation, you got to protect the quarterback. When we're in 3rd and long instead of these more manageable with the on the chains, on schedule ones, you need to protect the quarterback more. That's not happening. And then in the secondary, all offseason, all training camp, all summer, if you've been with me on Jets Latest, I was talking about how the Jets have these tall, lanky cover cornerbacks, right? Sauce, Stevens, A.Z. Thomas, who we haven't seen as much of. And I kept on saying that this was going to be a good match because Aaron Glenn likes to play man coverage, and I thought that was going to be good. Not, however, when Sauce has his lowest coverage grade of his career. Not when Brandon Stevens has been riddled with penalties and gotten burned, right? So the Jets have actually allowed more passing touchdowns, more yards per attempt, and they have not turned the ball over in the secondary like we have thought. So the idea of coverage in the back end and protecting on that offensive line are 2 areas where I'm a little bit surprised at, to be quite honest, and we need to button up against the Denver Broncos if we want to get our first win of the season. That'll do it for this episode of Jets Latest. Remember, as always, watch these videos, like these videos, subscribe to the channel. Thank you to the over 2,300 people who have so far. I really appreciate you. If you want even more insights, more exclusive stuff, click on that join button to become a Jets Latest insider. But always, tell a Jets fan friend to tell a Jets fan friend, okay? And if you want to hear more from me, the spitting statistician Dane Martinez, I am the host of the FTN Fantasy Show over on SiriusXM. We help you out in fantasy football. I got you. Sports betting, I got you. FTN. Great website, waiver wire tool, rankings, Stats Hub, which is where I get a lot of the great stats that I use to really give kind of insight here on the green and white. It is a great website. You got to check it out. Let's see what some of you guys, Jets Latest contributors, are talking about here. Ace Solo says, the Jets are not getting blown out with all the mistakes and turnovers. That tells me that once they're running on full cylinders, they will start winning games. I agree. I have been saying that here on Jets Latest, right? That there's some good things on the tape. Could they play a clean game? They have the explosive plays, but we keep on getting undermined. We have 5 games, -8 in the turnover margin. At the end of the season, I want to know, what is our win-loss record in games where we win the turnover margin? Let's see if we could do that on Sunday early with the game across the pond. MG8812 says, God help us, the Broncos are the #1 pass rushing team. Can Fields be provided the protection he needs? This is scary. I was saying the same thing, MG8812. I am really concerned because our pass protection has been bottom tier in the league. The Broncos pass rush, elite in the league. That is a bad cocktail. What we need, as usual, is to let our top tier run game be the lead punch. Stay on schedule. Stay with the chains. Do not force Justin Fields to have to go into 5-7 step dropbacks where he needs time. Do not be down by 2 scores in an obvious pass situations. That is the brand of football that these Jets want to play. Hopefully we can stick to that, and that may mitigate some of the potential mismatch with the Denver Broncos pass rush. Then Eric Thurman 1050 says, this team would be 4-1 if not for 2 fumbles and 2 late field goals. Let's be real. They are what? The offense is what they want it to be. Justin has been effective as a passer. As a dual threat, he is top tier. The O-line needs to be better pass blocking. I agree. We talked about that today. But they aren't bad. The defense is all getting to play. They just don't tackle. I agree with a lot of what they're saying. I don't think the defense... they're all getting to play. We'll see. So what? I do think Fields has been good. I really do. I don't think Fields has been bad. The completion percentage is there. We see the dual threat ability. I do think we are doing what we wanted to do in terms of style. The penalties and turnovers are killing us. And I do think the fumbles and, late field goals, the 60-yarder in week 1, for goodness sake. So I do agree. But it's hard to kind of continue to talk woulda, shoulda, could've when we're 0-5, right? Even though turnovers worst in the league, historic worst in terms of turnovers and not getting a takeaway. The penalties have been bad, but there are bright spots if you don't want to just become one of those same old Jets naysayers. And there's a lot of you out there. I see it in the comments. Hopefully we can have a clean game, maybe win the turnover margin, and see then what it looks like. That's how we got to start stacking this up. Remember, the schedule does get light towards the end of the season. If you thought it wasn't about wins and losses and about how they looked, there are some things to hold on to if we can clean it up. But we shall see. That'll do it for this episode of Jets Latest. I'll be here all week long getting you guys ready for our trip across the pond to face the Denver Broncos early on Sunday morning. We'll start to preview who these Denver Broncos are, what the Jets are saying about that matchup, and get you ready for week 6. But for this episode of Jets Latest, we out of here. Peace.